You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. LSU fans kind of got an unpleasant Black Friday gift this morning. A four-star member of LSU's 2023 class, defensive lineman Darren Reed, flipped his commitment from LSU to Auburn this morning. So 2023 defensive lineman out of Columbus, Georgia, had been committed to LSU since July 4th. If you remember, back this summer, there was this a lot. If you remember, there was this sort of angst, right? That could Brian Kelly recruit the state? Arch Manning committed to Texas. You lost Derek Williams. You lost some big time prospects out of the state, and so around the 4th of July, Brian Kelly went on this heater, and Darren Reed was part of that. So a guy from Columbus, Georgia. He's a 4-star, and LSU still has a pretty good hold on the defensive line for the class of 2023. Deshaun Womack, Jackson Howard, Joshua Mickens, all still committed. But there's two things that stand out here. One is specifically with Reed. The other is looking at the LSU defensive line, next year and beyond. But in his flip, Darren Reed told Chad Simmons from On 3, quote, "I just feel part of the family." Talking about Auburn. Why he decided to flip. I'm never one that's ever going to worry too much about one player. And there are transcendent type players that you feel like you have to get. Leonard Fournette was like that, right? He was a transcendent player from New Orleans. You recruited for 5 years and it felt like you had to get him. And sometimes you get him and sometimes you don't. Dylan Moses felt like that as well. And you didn't get him and he went to Alabama. But when you're going to sign 25 or more, however many it is, you're always going to have guys that you don't land. And you're still going to find a way to sign a class full of really good players, and your program will go on. And as much angst as there is about a player flipping here or there, it tends to, in time, work itself out. I remember all the Hootie Jones conversation years ago. Well, LSU ended up getting Jamal Adams instead. That kind of worked out. So either way, I'm not going to make too much of a deal out of one player. The odd thing is Darren Reed flipping from LSU to Auburn. He's flipping from LSU to Auburn when Auburn doesn't even have a head coach. So you're literally flipping from the school that won the West in year one of this head coach and is looking like it is very much on an upward trajectory to a school that at present does not even have a head coach. That's peculiar. That's whenever you look and you say, oh, well, NIL. And you're probably not wrong. So whatever. I'm very pro NIL. I'm all for these guys getting whatever they can and gals, and whatever someone's willing to pay them. That's just a bit peculiar when you have a guy flip from an ascending program to a program that doesn't even have a head coach. So wish him well. And the other part of it, though, is when you look at LSU's defensive line for 2023 and beyond, they still look really good. You're going to lose B.J. Ojulari and Ali Gay. Big questions about Jaquelin Roy and Jacobian Guillory if they return. But Savion Jones has been such a pleasant surprise this year. Harold Perkins will play that jack spot next year where Ojulari is presently. You'll have Wingo and Mason Smith back in the middle, and then behind them, potentially Roy and Guillory as part of that rotation. And then the guys that were freshmen this year, Bryce Langston, Tyjee Hill, Fitzgerald West. That doesn't even count a guy like Quincy Wiggins, who redshirted this year. And then on top of that, all of the 2023 signees, which will include Deshaun Womack, Jackson Howard, Joshua Mickens, and anybody else they may add in this class. So stings to lose a good player and to lose a good player in your division. Again, if someone's ever going to flip their commitment, or it's a player that LSU is pursuing and they decide to go elsewhere, you'd always rather them go somewhere out of conference, somewhere where you're never going to see them. Like Arch Manning going to Texas. I understand Texas is coming into the SEC, so potentially you get Arch Manning his junior year. But, by and large, you'd much rather, the example I always give is the late Joe McKnight. I mean, LSU wanted so badly to recruited Joe McKnight so badly, so hard, and he picked Southern Cal. And that sucked because he was an amazing football player, the best running back in the country, but he went to SC and you never saw him, so it didn't matter. Losing the guy not only in the conference but in the division, it stings. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.